My name is Ethan, and I never imagined that a single text could unravel a relationship I once believed was unbreakable. It happened on a quiet Friday night. I was half paying attention to a documentary on the couch when my phone lit up. It was a message from Lily. Asterisk going on a trip with my ex this weekend. Don't get jealous. Asterisk. And she ended it with a smiley face. Not a sweet one. The kind that feels careless, like she understood exactly how it would hit me and didn't bother to cushion it. I stared at those words for a long moment, rereading them as if they might rearrange themselves into something reasonable. We'd been together 2 years. Not perfect, but comfortable. We shared weekends, chores, birthdays, lazy mornings. I honestly thought we were beyond childish, let's see how he reacts games. Turns out I was wrong. I finally texted back. Asterisk, don't worry. I won't be here when you return. Asterisk. Nothing dramatic, just the truth. She didn't answer for nearly an hour. When she did, all she wrote was, asterisk, wow. Dramatic much? Asterisk. Overreacting. That was the word that hit me the hardest. Not the trip. Not the ex. That one word told me exactly how she viewed me. Not as a partner, but as someone whose boundaries were optional. I set my phone down and looked around our place. Her mug on the counter. Shoes by the door. One of my sweaters draped over a chair. Suddenly, everything felt temporary, like scenery from a play that was about to end. The next morning, I packed quietly. I wasn't angry. I wasn't slamming anything around. I was just sure. I folded my clothes, unplugged chargers, watered the plant she bought, and immediately forgot about. While sealing the last box, she texted again. Asterisk, so you're actually leaving over a short trip. It's only a few days, Ethan. Asterisk. A few days with someone she once planned a future with. Someone she still kept around under the excuse of maturity. But respect isn't optional when you're with someone new. I didn't reply. Instead, I snapped a picture of the half-emptied apartment so I'd never forget the exact moment I realized that love without respect is just wishful thinking. She came home that evening, suitcase ready, dressed for travel. When she saw the boxes, she froze. What is all this? She demanded. There was no remorse in her voice, just defensiveness. That told me everything. This, I said, is what happens when you treat someone like they're part of a game. She gave a short laugh, more bewildered than cruel. Seriously? It's just Jake. We've been friends forever. Stop acting insecure. Insecure, I repeated. You didn't ask. You didn't talk to me. You announced it. And then you told me not to be jealous. That wasn't communication. That was a poke. She folded her arms and insisted I was blowing everything out of proportion. I realized then she wasn't even trying to understand me. Some people argue to fix things. Others argue to win. She belonged to the second group. I left that night. No yelling, no dramatic speech. Just walked out. The drive to my brother's place was quiet. I didn't turn on music. I just let my thoughts settle. I remembered the early days, the coffee shop where we met, the late-night conversations, the laughter. But somewhere along the way, she stopped seeing me as her partner and started viewing me as someone she could provoke to feel valued. Oddly, that realization didn't break me. It clarified everything. I turned my phone off when I arrived. Not silent mode, off. I wanted peace. And when I slept that night, I didn't wake up once to check messages. That silence felt earned. 3 days later, I powered my phone back up. No missed calls. Just a few texts from her. So you're serious? You're being ridiculous. Asterisk, fine. Do whatever you want. Asterisk. Not a hint of apology. Not even a small acknowledgement of what she'd done. All pride, no accountability. I kept the messages, I wanted the reminder. About a week later, her friend Emma reached out. She said Lily had come home early from her trip and hadn't seemed happy. I just nodded at the screen and set the phone aside. I didn't feel satisfied, just validated. 2 days after that, Lily showed up at my brother's place without warning. When I opened the door, she looked deflated, like the confidence she always wore had slipped through the cracks. Can we talk? She asked softly. I let her in. She sat down like she was preparing for a debate, except this time, she had nothing to argue. I didn't actually go, she confessed. I packed, but I couldn't. I realized how it looked. Then why send the message? I asked. She stared at her hands. I don't know. I thought maybe it would make you react. Show me you still cared. You felt distant. I gave a humorless laugh. So, your solution was to tell me you were going away with your ex? It was stupid, she whispered. I didn't think you'd actually walk out. You didn't think I'd leave, I said, because you assumed I'd accept anything you did. You mixed up loyalty with blindness. Her eyes filled with tears. Can we just start over? Please? I shook my head. I didn't leave to hurt you. I left because I finally saw how little you respected me. She tried offering promises, blocking him, cutting ties, but I cut her off. This was never about him. It was about you thinking boundaries are optional. We sat in silence for a while. A calm, honest silence. Finally, I said, I wanted us to be the kind of couple who didn't need tests to feel secure. She nodded, crying. You were. I wasn't. It was the truest thing she'd said in months. When she left, she didn't slam anything. She just whispered, I'm sorry, and walked away with the same suitcase she'd planned to take on the trip that never happened. Time moved on. I got a small apartment and rebuilt my routines, morning runs, simple meals, quiet evenings. There were moments I almost reached for my phone to message her, but then the memory of that smiley face text reminded me exactly why we ended. One day, while cleaning, I found a photo of us at the lake, both squinting at the sun with huge smiles. For a moment, I missed what we used to be before things cracked. I didn't tear it up. I just placed it in a box labeled before and tucked it under the bed. Months later, I ran into Emma again. She mentioned that Lily had moved to a new city and told her friends I was the one person she should never have tested. I nodded and simply said I hoped she found what she needed. By then, I already had peace. Not the kind you get from winning an argument, but the kind that comes when you finally understand your own worth. That text, the one that ended everything, used to make me furious. Now it only makes me grateful. When she wrote, "Don't be jealous," what she was really saying was, "Don't expect loyalty." And when I replied, "I won't be here when you get back," I wasn't issuing a threat. I was telling the truth.